which monarchy person you want?
I mean, if you found out that you had incurable disease, you got a good 3 weeks.
I think Lupe's giving this some thought.
I'll be called as a terrorist.
Is this what first came to your mind when you had chest pains recently? Yeah. Well, time to go kill George Bush.
Who's our operative on this one? Bicey.
Bicey?
Bicey could be our operative on this one.
An op? Operative? You could do a wet insert operation?
I don't join organizations. Secret or otherwise.
Okay.
Oh.
You sure? Sure you're not a Green Club member, huh?
No. He was a founder.
The Green Club?
Founder.
The Green
Party.
The Green
Are you a Green member?
I'm the president this year.
Really? On campus?
Yeah, on campus.
Oh, cool.
You'll be getting naked at it.
Yeah, what? I'm also a member, yes, of course.
But you're like, are you for the color green? Is that?
That's not
We're not for the color green. We're for the 10 key values of the Green Party, which I don't know what they are, but I got them written down, and I'll get you a copy.
Okay. Now we could read them off on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you're not in the army.
You know, he's talking about your circumcision.
You just can't let it go.
Oh, no, you see them fighting.
Alright, hey, I know this petty fight is a serious issue here.
No, yeah, what is that? I mean, that's the big question, right, for Americans right now is what is assimilation? How much do you retain your ethnic identity versus becoming part of the whole? You know, we all want to be able to say we're this and this and this, but we also have to be a coherent enough group to make common decisions that are meaningful and plot a common course. We can't just all sit around and sit there in our own bubble and pot. We have to decide on some common things, and we better at least touch bases with one another to some degree. And I don't think we're that fragmented, but I'm still saying about assimilation isn't necessarily a bad idea to a certain degree. We all have to come to some common themes and not necessarily agree on them, but at least understand them.
Well, there are no need for assimilation in anything except in work, in the workplace. Outside of work,
productivity,
you do whatever you want.
If
you go home and do whatever you want, you want to sleep.
I agree. But our whole economy is based on productivity.
You're saying you don't think a Christian could work with a Muslim, or a gay guy could work with a straight guy?
But again, they better have some common themes. They better have some kind of common thing, whether or not it's you vote 50-50 always on some presidential election, or you decide on certain courses as a bigger group based on evidence and facts and information. That, you know what, we better start saving the environment more. You know, that's just one idea.
Well, you don't even have to go that far.
Do we have to assimilate people into that idea? Yeah, we do.
There are certain things that if you're a citizen,
okay, that's
you need
what
to
I'm
believe.
talking about. Okay?
Right.
Go home and do whatever the hell you want to.
But I mean,
care.
but
there's certain themes we have to at least get around together. We can disagree.
You're looking at it from a scientist's point of view, but in cultural studies, assimilation has a totally different
I know,
meaning.
yeah, and it's a totally different definition of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying getting around an idea together. And that's some part of assimilation. When you share common things,
well, you have to believe certain things. You have to believe, for
with
instance, in the rule of law.
But assimilation historically here has not meant that.
No, it means a more power structure
Well,
forcing ideas on
here's
somebody.
a good idea. I think we can all agree to
But
that.
that's not the basic meaning of the word assimilate. You just are sharing certain things together, and it can be good or bad. We put on, because of our historical tradition, we put a bad connotation onto that word, but it doesn't necessarily have to. We can assimilate about certain ideas or get around them, however you want to, whatever word you want to use. I'm just saying we better start sharing some freaking ideas together in this country instead of dividing along racial and ethnic lines so much, and realize we got a shitload of problems that we got to deal with. And the only way to deal with them is to share some ideas.
I mean, if you're going to be an American, you need to believe in the First Amendment of the Constitution.
When you look at this country, and they're adding more. It used to be just race, gender, and class. Now it's race, gender, sexuality, and region. I mean, because if you leave those things out of any sort of analysis, you're really short-changing.
Shit, as a Western Icelander, I know all about that. I mean, I often feel marginalized.
Right, what environmental problems are in the Southwest, the desert Southwest, Southern California, and Arizona, New Mexico are totally different than in the Atlantic Northeast. You got a different racial makeup to the population. They come at it with different ways. Their environment means different things to them. And they need to decide on a regional level what's going on, but also that belongs to me, even as somebody who doesn't live there, as an American. And my say might not mean as much because I don't live there. It still does mean something because, you know, that could be a national park, and then that's shared by everybody, okay? Who decides on the future of our national parks? What ideas do we go down to save those and preserve those in the border regions?
Oh, no, I guess not.
Different ethnicities have different ideas about how you relate to the land. Good and bad. I'm just saying, those are what I'm saying about sharing, assimilation. I
Is that the
just
guy who
use
used
that
to
word
work
to
for the
kind of
Eagles?
provoke an
Hugh
argument.
Douglas or something?
But it's really about sharing ideas. Breaking down the frickin' borders that are there, and they seem to be getting thicker rather than less nowadays to me.
But it's not like there's just all these different traditions or ethnicities out there and they're all just in their own space. It's a definite power structure where there's been one dominant ideology, and that's Christianity. And Christianity, although, and there's been from the start of the country this inability to resolve this question. People saying it is a Christian country, and basically.
LA's second, Frisco's like fifth or sixth, the biggest. So Frisco's not small. That includes San Jose.
Sam Keen out of Palm Springs, I was driving the dream,
You know, type of,
right.
because
There's a very-
everything that I'm
Joe's
not saying that America is actually as pathetic as that. I think that there's always an undercurrent of what people actually do.
Families.
Like
I mean,
people
when
actually,
the American dream of my
like,
father was you work.
Rich people.
I mean, the
They get high,
whole thing of being a man
use
was
various
working,
drugs,
not
they
missing
have
work.
this,
and
they're
that's
sexually
Kayak
active,
from
they do
Seattle to
every
Juneau.
They do all
Academic
sorts of
level,
shit,
Right.
yeah.
that's
I
where
mean, they
that comes.
spend 3 months to kayak from Seattle to Juneau. And that is going to twist your head more than just about anything you can
Right.
do.
Well,
You know,
that-
hike the
that's pretty
Grand
rare,
Canyon.
though.
You know, but again, you don't have to go at it. I always feel I'm very cynical when I say money because that's what the majority of people will relate to. But really what I love about America is that, yeah, there's that money thing, but you know what? You can fly under that radar and you can have the same experiences if you're just willing to just live your life. You can hike the Grand Canyon, you can raft it, you can hike the Appalachian Trail, you can do all these things, you can go marlin fishing. Some of them cost more money than others, okay? Even if you're the cheapest bum and try to get by, but you can still have these experiences that these rich people strive their whole life for, and they still never quite achieve them. But if you're willing to just do them,
But the
it
weird
takes
thing,
a shitload of just commitment to do that, though, too.
the weird
you
thing
can't
though
do 'em.
within America is that these things are like this going into nature and doing stuff like that.
See, that's where I come
It-
from.
Right. The strange thing is that it's like it becomes like
Joe's so amazing.
a dream escape of the
Right.
stagnancy which you've established as the norm.
Yep.
So, because there are other cultures that live in nature normally,
Like,
you know, and so
you shit in a toilet in an outhouse every year, every day for a year, and see how much you like it, you know? No, my mom was great. She grew up in Czechoslovakia during World War II, and then we moved to Alaska, and she was like, screw outhouses, you know, and everybody in Alaska was like, oh, cool, I get to shit in an outhouse. I'm living in wilderness, right? It's like, yeah, she goes shit in an outhouse. Baby, I want running water. Okay? That's the quote of the week. Oh, cool, I get to shit in an outhouse.
That's some,
That's the kind of level it gets
Walking, Joe.
what?
Right, what I'm saying is what's missing in American culture and what's missing from the American dream that there is no desire for transformative events, for transformative activities, transformative experiences. In most ancient cultures, you had some place, there was a space built into the culture for stuff that changed you, stuff that, and in the American culture, there is no, that's what's missing, is that people say, is this what life is? I just watch TV.
I think in
it's
America, this is a gross generalization, but I think in America, one of the ways that people see that formative or transformative experience is to go, okay, if I earn enough money, then I can do whatever I want, and then I'll do something great. And usually they don't. They, you know, well, they do whatever the hell they do. And whether that be, yeah, some of them do some fun stuff. They raft the Grand Canyon. They go live in Miami. They go do whatever the hell they do, and they are
do it the wrong way.
They are achieving their dream, quote dream. But what does that really lead to? In a lot of ways, it leads to just sort of the same kind of.
Yeah, by the time they get to do it, they're like, they're so self-conscious about it. Oh, right now I'm transforming myself.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. You can't go out there and be like,
What do you need to do? You want to?
And you
Oh,
go
go ahead.
for a week.
Okay.
yeah, you
Don't
go
worry
out
about
there
it.
and say,
Yeah,
I'm having,
couple of
take a picture.
years.
Take a picture
Right.
of me by this.
And they
take a picture of
remember
me
their
by
float
this.
trip down the Grand Canyon by this couple of 3 or 4 pictures that happen to be the best ones out of the 17 rolls they took. Because it shows them and their buddy. That was really the transformative experience in their life, was that longer experience hanging out with the friends that they took on the trip. And then that trip might crystallize something for them. Usually it does to varying degrees, you know. I've seen all kinds of older people go on trips down in places like that, wilderness experiences, and it can be a good, it's one of many things that can make them think a little different.
I have been having lunch in a good water.
If they can afford it, good, you know, good, do it. That's what they want to do. I wish people would invoke more of that in their life, throughout their life, you know.
What should we do, Joe?
Well, I like Super Bowl Sundays.
Yeah, but that only comes once a year.
Yeah, we need more things like
Should we
that.
create more Super Bowl
No,
Sundays?
that's only one thing to do.
No. How many more?
One every 2-3 months. You need to have something where you have a parade of naked people ingesting
A lot of people do.
LSD or
And they sign up for
stuff,
one of those trips. Well, I've had clients on
through the
trips where we
streets,
go down the Grand Canyon.
or chopping
and they,
apart a
you know,
sheep,
after about
you
a
know,
day,
that's the sort of thing I'd like to do.
Why not?
Or another good thing is to take a baseball bat to cars.
Which cars?
They freak out.
Green ones.
Green ones? Is that a protest against the Green Party?
Ecotourism has got a big, you know, sell, but it's not. There's a lot of bad things associated.